Now we're live.
All right.
Hello, Facebook. Thank you for joining us today. We have WCRA President Bobby Moat joining us today, WCRA Vice President Scott Davis, and myself, Sammy Jo Smith, VP of Athlete Initiative, or excuse me, Associate VP of Athlete Initiatives. I don't even know my own title. But thank you again, everyone, for joining us. Today, we are going to break it down to the beginning of the Women's Rodeo World Championship and talk again about the creation of this event and how you at home can travel to Texas come November 8th through the 15th and compete at the first ever $750,000 guaranteed payout Women's Rodeo World Championship. So thank you for joining us. And as you know, please share this video, encourage your friends to join us this afternoon. If you have questions, please drop them in the comments. We want to interact with all of you. We want to answer your questions. And, if you have anything that is maybe holding you up from entering, drop it in the comments. We want to address it. We want to talk about it. But to start, Bobby, I'm going to kick it over to you. And if you can just talk again about the creation of this event and, why it's impactful to this sport of rodeo and why, people should come and participate.
Yeah. So, everybody's probably familiar with the fact that half of the demographic of rodeo, whether it's fans or people who do it, are ladies. And in rodeo, in professional rodeo, there's one event that they can do is barrel racing, and now Breakaway is starting to catch on, and that's doing well and looks like it's going to continue to grow. And we saw a need there for lady rodeo athletes, cowgirls, to have a chance to go compete in the things that they do and they like to do: barrel racing, breakaway roping, heading, and heeling, and try to create enough incentive to make it where it's really good for them. Because what we've seen already in breakaway roping in a really short time is, it's not that we invented breakaway roping. Breakaway roping had been happening at the high school and intercollegiate levels and at the amateur rodeo levels. And then once you introduce it and give them the incentive that they've had with the WCRA majors, where they can earn $50,000 equal money along with everybody else. The American, where they can earn $100,000. Like, those opportunities and the big jackpots are springing up all over the place. Those opportunities are creating incentive, and so now there's more people doing it. There's more money in the breakaway ecosystem, if you will. I know of breakaway horses. I just saw one sell yesterday for $45,000. That's just a good breakaway horse. And so, I mean, that's all things that, if we were talking about this 2 years ago, maybe wouldn't have occurred. And so, team roping, ladies team roping, could do the same thing. There's lots and lots of these cowgirls that head good and heel good, but they're just in the mix with everybody else. And so they haven't had the opportunity to be treated equal money, equal opportunity. And we've just decided to package it all together: barrel racing, heading, heeling, and breakaway roping. And I believe that there's going to be a lot of fans, not just women, but men also. They're going to want to watch this because these gals are tremendous hands, like really, really good. And so, we said, if we're going to start this, our vision is this thing is enormous. It's big. There's tons and tons of people at all levels participating for millions. We hung it out there in year one, and we said, we'll guarantee $750,000. That's not subject to if we get enough entries, but that $750,000 if we get a lot or if we don't get a little. And so our folks that have participated in the VRQ, the Virtual Rodeo Qualifier, historically with the WCRA, have been great and supported this and have been active, and it's really been neat to see that energy. The team ropers are new to it, and so they've been learning, but don't kid yourself, they've been doing it a lot also. And I know of a lot of gals that could team rope and certainly were good, but weren't entering that much and weren't going and competing and didn't really have anything big to work for. And so they weren't. And now I see them entering, I see them working at it, I see them getting better horses. And my daughter is a great example. She's 17 and she ropes, but short of just going to the number ropings around here, there's not a lot of at least rodeo opportunity for her in team roping, and now there is. And so she's really been taking it seriously and working at it every day and trying to balance her time between working her barrel horses and her head horses. And so it's fun to see. And I think that in time, especially after we have this one and everybody out there sees a header, a heeler, a breakaway roper, a barrel racer, all walk away with $60,000 checks, 312 of them are going to walk away with a check. That's an astounding figure that you could have an event, a first year event like that, and have 312 checks that will be written. $750,000 is going to be spread out. It's not just top loaded, although First does pay $60,000, and that's a significant check. We wanted First to pay $100,000 and everything, but it was important to us that we did equal money. And so every event's running at the same amount. They can win $60,000 in AT&T Stadium. They'll be featured during the PBR World Finals. In the middle of the performance, they're going to be featured on CBS Network. That's a big deal. CBS Sports Network, they're going to be featured in front of way more people than I think we could have ever hoped for in a year one situation, which is going to help to inject even more growth and energy in women's rodeo. And so I'm really, really excited about this. The thing that I'm really surprised about is how many people don't know about it. They either have heard, they've seen an ad. I mean, if you're on Facebook, you've certainly seen an ad, something to the effect about the Women's Rodeo World Championship. But I can see where somebody would be, it's another card I got to buy. It's another membership. It's another season-long race that I would have to go on. My plate's kind of full with work, or I already go to these organizations or whatever it is. And, that's one big misconception. And that's just simply not true. There are a couple of different ways to get in this. And that's one, through the leaderboard, which this upcoming weekend is the end of the leaderboard point earning opportunities for this year. But you can, if you're not on the leaderboard, then you can just enter open 2 times. You can go two open entries and have a shot at that in every event. And so lots and lots of opportunities. You don't have to have a membership. We don't sell memberships. You can do it from any corner of North America that you choose. You can go on entrytool.com and enter and make plans to come. It's going to be a fantastic event. And anybody who's been to our WCRA events will know this, is that we're different than other rodeo producers or committees in that our customer is the athlete. And so to make things good for the athlete, it's not in our best interest to make the conditions any harder than they need to be. The competition will take care of itself. And so things that you'll see that we do differently is we'll drag after every 5, we'll hand rake after every single run in the barrel race. That sounds like a lot of work. It's certainly worth it, because those barrel horses that these ladies are going to bring are valuable. They run hard, and everybody needs to have the best opportunity that we can give them. And so that's something that we do. We do our best to hand select these cattle and set the measurements and the conditions in the roping event so that it's as good as possible. We have things like instant replay. Year one in the Women's Rodeo World Championship, and there's instant replay. There's an official that's dedicated to just that. And all of those things with the idea in mind is that we want to see the money goes to the right place, tie goes to the runner, and you have the benefit of an instant replay review if a wrong or right call is made in the arena. And so those are just some of the things that we do. We're different, and all basically just to say, we want to see as many cowgirls, whether they're pros or whether they're challengers, and Sammy Joe will explain a little bit about what that is, but just basically up and comers or people who do it occasionally or on weekends, moms, and they have jobs and all those things. Like, we have something for everybody. And so it's going to be really exciting to see it all come together this first year.
Absolutely.
Well, and Sammy Joe, Bobby laid it. Can you guys hear me okay? I want to make sure my sound's good. So Bobby did a great job of laying out sort of the what and the why around the Women's Rodeo World Championship. So what about the where and the when, right? I mean, just a couple of weeks ago, we had a significant announcement. We tried our hearts out to host this event in Las Vegas alongside the PBR finals. We announced the location change to Fort Worth, Texas, right here in the middle of cowgirl country. But the event will begin at the Will Rogers Complex. And Bobby said a minute ago, you can come from all corners of the earth. What a facility that will be able to support a large group of people, world-class stalling facilities, world-class competition surfaces, world-class opportunity, and a $750,000 event. But so when? It's all at Will Rogers. On Sunday night, we'll start with the fast track of the barrel racing. That's those 16, up to 16 fast track qualifiers that will gun for the 4 positions and dump right into the main event. You're sharing this on the screen. On Monday, we'll kick it off with the leaderboard, the WCRA leaderboard round 1, and then into the open pools round 1, then dive right into the team roping disciplines. On Tuesday, round 2 of the barrel racing, respectively, for the leaderboard and the open pools, and then the additional rounds as needed in the team roping. And then on Wednesday, we'll climb into the Elite 18 redemption rounds and progressive rounds in the barrel racing, as well as begin the breakaway, hosting the fast track into the leaderboard, and then the open pools. And it's highly likely, based on entries, we'll have to clean up a little bit of the breakaway on Thursday morning. But Thursday is the big day, the first portion of the main event, right? Where all of this qualifying has come down to the top 24 ladies in each discipline. We'll run a performance in the 24 of each discipline. We'll take a break to give those barrel horses a little time to recoup some energy, and then we'll run the 12 round. And then, as Bobby mentioned, what a tremendous opportunity for these top 6 in each discipline to go to AT&T during, more importantly, during the performance of the PBR World Finals, and also featured on the CBS carriage and distribution of the PBR World Finals, right? It's been proven time and again that the PBR fan is slight different demographic from the average rodeo fan. So we're going to be able to showcase these ladies' talents and abilities, not only to the world through television distribution, but also to a completely new fan base and those attending one of the largest events annually in Western sports. So the when and where of this thing could not have come together better, considering the challenges that we faced with COVID and not being able to go to Las Vegas. So really an exciting event for all of the whys that Bobby mentioned, and the where and when came together pretty well in addition to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I want to take a minute to talk directly to the girls that have been nominating and have been, earning points to advance in the top 64 to compete in the leaderboard pool. And just to kind of show from the description that you just gave, Scott, let's look at the progression formats again, right? So they can actually see in the team roping, you've got over here the fast track pool, which is those girls that have won those nominate when you're in qualifications. You have the WCRA leaderboard path, which is on this side, the girls that will advance from the top 64 of the leaderboard pool to progress into the main event. And then you also have that open to the world pool, which is anybody, right? Whether you've been participating in the leaderboard or you haven't, anyone can enter the Open to the World pool up to a maximum of 2 times per discipline. And we'll get into the details because there is actually 2 competitions happening inside of the Open to the World. And that's and just in the qualifier rounds, but that's the pros and the challengers. But the biggest thing first, I want to talk to you ladies over here that have been participating in this leaderboard pool. The leaderboard nominations cutoff is this Sunday, October 18th. So you have until Sunday to continue nominating and go to events and try to get as many last minute points as you can, right? To earn points to be in the top 64 of each discipline. Now remember, there's a $20,000 all-around bonus. And the all-around, you can earn points in every discipline in all of these paths. So I just recommend, if there's a team roping jackpot happening and you could get on the leaderboard this weekend to advance and compete in the leaderboard pool. But something we haven't talked about, so the cutoff is this Sunday. We'll then do a tentative update this coming Tuesday where everyone will get to review, see if there's any disputes, and the leaderboard will be 100% final on Thursday, October 22nd at noon Central Time. So we will contact everybody that's in the top 64. And if you just so happen to make it outside of the top 64, we'll contact you and you'll be an alternate. So there's still a chance you could get in if anybody has to draw out. But so that's for those of you competing in the leaderboard. And no, when we're talking about entries, those that are going to be in the leaderboard pool are going to enter that pool October 27th through the 29th. Okay.
Sammy Joe, could I add that those who are in the leaderboard pool don't pay entry fees?
Exactly. Yeah, no entry fees. Number 1 through 4 on the leaderboard get a complimentary hotel room for 3 nights. Or actually, and now that we're in Texas, if you choose to get an RV spot, you can do that as well. Plus 1 complimentary stall. The nominate win your ins get a complimentary stall. And yeah, everybody on that leaderboard side do not pay entry fees to compete in the leaderboard pool.
Right. So just do some real quick math real quick in the team roping, especially if you go to a jackpot and you place somewhere this week. I mean, like last I looked, it was like 3 points to get on the leaderboard. So 3 points is last place at the smallest one header that you might go to, just to put it in perspective. And so, the leaderboard in the team roping at the top is tough. Certainly is. To get in the top 64, however,
so this is the healing. Healing is 0.5. Yeah, and then let's go. So just for all of you that want to see this information, if you go to WCRrodeo.com, go to leaderboards, make sure you're in the segment W20, go to the discipline you're looking at. So we just determined it's 0.5 points to be in the top 64 of the healing. For the heading, it's a little more difficult, but 3 points.
Yeah. Well, and to your point, Bobby, in the team roping, and from what you and Sammy Joe just said, you're talking about a $50 nomination at an alliance or non-alliance event. You're going to get either, your consolation points at an alliance event or your competition points, which is lower of the two. And that's what's picking up the last hole, right? If there is a team roping jackpot and you are a female team roper, you should go this weekend. You should make that $50 nomination, and your odds would be pretty fantastic to achieve qualification in the top 64 and not pay an entry fee at all. Because if you enter right now, or if you enter between now and October 25th, it's $750 entry fee for the same run. So it just makes all the sense in the world to find somewhere to rope in the next 3 or 4 days and nominate those runs and get in on the leaderboard.
Well, and additionally, keep in mind with the in the team roping, you don't have to go to an all-girl roping. it's any jackpot. So it doesn't matter. Anything that's not age restricted. So a high school rodeo or junior rodeo would be about the only thing that you couldn't do. But past that, and so, I mean, to me, it's like this. You get another chance to compete. You have another couple runs before you're basically out of advancing if you come into the leaderboard. And if you like money, specifically keeping money in your pocket, you're way money ahead to get in through the leaderboard. But if you say one of two things, either I can't go anywhere this weekend, so I can't earn any points, or I'm going, but I have two partners and I want to rope with somebody else also. I want to have more chances at points for the all around, or really, quite frankly, just up my odds of making it to the main event, then you could be in on the leaderboard and enter through the open pools. But it's, one of the things that we found through this is because we award points rather than go on a dollar one standpoint, a lot of people don't understand what is a lot of points. And so I would venture to say that there's a lot of people in the breakaway and the barrel racing leaderboard also that probably have some points but are just out of it or are close. So I would say if I'm from 50th, I wouldn't necessarily feel like I'm safe. If I was 50th on down to Sam and Joe can pull it up, but I would say, in the 80s probably, you still have a chance to make it in through the leaderboard this weekend, especially in the breakaway rope, and when you consider some of the opportunities that are taking place in Oklahoma. So, it looks like, if 64th has
81
points, I mean, go to 80 or 89 in the leaderboard. I mean, yeah, they're a stone's throw away. So, if you're in the top 100, I mean, there's no reason, and it's not going to make any difference if you make it 64th, you make it 16th. It's not going to make a whole lot of difference at this point because it's going to get you in, and that's the main thing. You will compete in that first round and reverse order of the leaderboard, and so if you are 64th, you're most likely first out. But still, I mean, there's lots of opportunities here.
Absolutely. And we did talk about this last week, but while we're on the subject of earning points, especially in the breakaway roping, this weekend at the Oklahoma's Richest, let's scroll down to that graphic. It is an expanded point event. So in the open and in the challenger, there will be expanded points awarded, which is down to 20 places in every paid round that we will be awarding points. So like for those girls that are down in the 80s and need 40 points to get bumped into the 64, that's very obtainable this weekend in Guthrie, Oklahoma. And I'll pull his flyer up.
And Sammy Joe, to that end, the standard, the normal entry window has closed for that, but walk-ups are available, right?
Exactly.
So anybody that's listening to this, that's within a drive of the Lazy E, can show up over there this weekend and enter Oklahoma's Richest and have an opportunity for these expanded points.
Yeah. And I just want to, Allison and Rebecca, your comments about, the lack of promotion for expanded points in Rapid City. We had a live about that a few weeks ago now, and we apologized for that, but we also have been doing our best to promote to everybody these expanded point opportunities that happened last weekend in Decatur for the team roping, and this weekend now in Guthrie for the breakaway roping. So we hear you loud and clear. And we hope that everybody drives to Guthrie this weekend for the breakaway roping and takes advantage of this expanded point opportunity. So yeah, it will be on Friday, October 16th at 8 a.m. is that challenger breakaway roping. And then on Saturday at 8 a.m. is the open ladies breakaway roping. And as you can see, there's a ton more events. He's got an all-girl tie down on Friday, the 3D breakaway roping, There'll be some matches happening in the breakaway and tie down. So great event to go to this weekend in Guthrie. And I will be there, so I'll be happy to talk to anybody that has questions on site. And then back to the graphic on the progression format, there's another added benefit to the being in the leaderboard that, as we mentioned, for the Women's Rodeo World Championship, there is no walk-ups. So everybody has to enter online, right? And so a benefit of being in the leaderboard pool is if you haven't maxed out your 2 entries in the Open to the World, on site, you'll have a re-entry option, which will be $500 to enter and compete in the Open to the World. That's only for the girls competing in the leaderboard pool. So just one, extra benefit to nominating this weekend, being in the top 64, and knowing if things don't go the way you'd like them to in that leaderboard qualifier round, you'll have another shot in the Open to the World. You don't have to go home, once the leaderboard pool ends. So that's that on the leaderboard. Now it's time to talk to those of you that have not entered or have, are thinking about entering the Open to the World pool. So let's look at these important dates. Sorry, we're kind of skipping around on the screen. But so we've talked about this October 18th date. That's when the nominations close. But now for the Open to the World pool, October 25th at 11 p.m. Central Time is when the $750 entry fee closes. Scott, Bobby, if we skip back over to this progression chart, inside the qualifier rounds here, there's the pro pool and the challenger pool. Scott, will you just talk a little bit again about why we decided to do that?
Well, this is a new opportunity that the breakaway roping has certainly embraced. The team roping, generally speaking, was already embracing it, and it's a slight adjustment of what you've seen in the divisional barrel races that are obviously widely popular now. The challenger division is an opportunity for those who compete that may or may not be quite as polished, quite as fast, that sort of situation. We released this opportunity earlier this summer when we announced the Women's Rodeo World Championship, and it was embraced at such a level that we had a handful of events that actually hosted challenger events in the breakaway roping and the team roping ahead of the Women's Rodeo World Championship. If you enter the Open to the World, you can contact support by either calling us or emailing us to see if you're classified as a challenger or a pro. And if you are qualified as a challenger, you'll be placed into a challenger pool of competition. So the important part about this is that those challengers have the opportunity to build confidence amongst themselves ahead of the open progressive round. Now, there's no question about it. You still have to perform well in order to advance through this event, through the progressive rounds and into the main event, and then, of course, advancing into the main event. The challenger pools of competition that are offered in the breakaway, the barrel racing, and the team roping will give you an opportunity to establish confidence and win some of your money back, potentially or certainly for some of those competitors on their way to the progressive round, right? So it's an early round of qualifying competition where you'll compete against like-skilled athletes and have an opportunity to excel.
Well, and just to add to that, everybody in the qualifying rounds in their opening events is going to make two runs, and then they're going to advance out of those 2 runs to the progressive round. And what we're saying is, if you're a challenger, basically, if you haven't won over a certain amount of money, or in the team roping, if you're not greater than a number 5, then you're going to compete against people in that skill level, and then give you a chance to earn money in both those rounds and the aggregate, and then advance. And so, it's one more way to try to make it more appealing for more people and give more people an opportunity to get there and get the first, second run jitters out of the way when maybe it doesn't matter quite as much. In the open, it's going to be tougher. And I know nobody's afraid of that, but I mean, why wouldn't you give yourself the opportunity, if you can, to go run at the same money? The challenger pools pay the same as the open pools. And so it's not more steps along the way, and it's not less money. It's the same money either way, but it's a little bit curved the field so that you have a better chance to advance.
Yeah, and I think the payout is something that probably majority of you are wondering, if I enter this event, what are my odds of walking away with a check, right? And fast fact, we're going to have 312 checks paid out at an average of $2,400. But looking at this screen that we just shared, this event is a guaranteed payout, regardless of entries. So this 1.6 here is in the ground rules on our website, womensrodeoworldchampionship.com, and it explains based on entries and based on the number of pools, this is how much total money is going to be paid out in each pool. And to Bobby and Scott's point, that's within the pro pools and within the challenger pools. So whether you're a challenger or a pro, there's going to be, even in those rounds, a really good chance for you to get your entry fees back just in that first round. And then moving up into the rest of the competition, we've got the progressive round here, pays $7,500 per discipline. Moving up into the redemption round, which is just that last chance for anybody that didn't get into the main event from the qualifying rounds. They can pay $500 one more time and run, and we're going to pay four places there. Third and fourth, you're going to get your fees back. And then the Elite 18 round will pay $3,000. Those fast track pools will pay $2,000 per discipline. And then in the main event, all 24 athletes competing in the main event are guaranteed a check. So first through sixth will earn this $5,000 up to $60,000. And then 7th through 12th, which is that second round, will either make $2,000 or $1,500. And then 13th through 18th will make $1,000, and 19th through 24th will make $750. So as we were running those numbers, right, if you're on the leaderboard, you don't pay any entry fees, and you're guaranteed these values. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. It is. It's most of the events, especially first year events, are always projected payouts. Look, there's a big number, or there's a truck or a trailer or whatever, and here's what you could win. And there's an asterisk, or there's some fine print that says if we get over 300 teams, or if we get however many of what. And so we're saying this is how it's going to be paid out. And so come and get it. I mean, if you're a cowgirl and you do any of these events or all of these events, and you would like to see your sport get better and have more opportunities, come and support it. That's the bottom line. Is we hung it out there when we decided we were going to do this, and I think we're going to be right. I think that it's going to be is going to have a lot of support from cowgirls all over. And if we're wrong, then maybe we need to do something else. But I think that it's important that everybody understands that, this isn't time to be a female rodeo athlete, and the opportunities that are in front of us right now with what we're doing and what other organizations are doing to try to make it better in breakaway roping. And I believe that they'll begin to start making it better for team roping too. So it's not just this one event. And so we've already seen it with producers who have stepped up and added money in a 9.5 team roping or in a challenger breakaway roping. And so those are new opportunities that weren't there last year. And so by virtue of us doing what we're doing and the ladies coming along and supporting it, this is just going to get bigger by leaps and bounds, and everybody's the beneficiary of that.
Absolutely. And Sammy Joe, we just kind of crossed the half-hour mark. I think it might be a good idea if we can shift gears and answer a couple of questions, just so we make sure that we hit some of these people who have commented earlier, and also just remind anybody else that's listening, type your questions in. You know, they're all good. I think probably we answered Renee's question sort of just honestly in talking about the team roping. To nominate it, does it have to be an all-girl event? And Bobby sort of answered that organically as she was asking it. I want to address quickly Allison's and Rebecca's comments related to the expanded points. We mentioned that Oklahoma's Richest in the Breakaway, the expanded points will be available this weekend as the segment closed, and we'll make sure and brush that up. And we do make sure and brush that up in every weekly Facebook Live. Any peculiar or particular point earning opportunities and fast track qualifiers have been identified on a weekly basis during these Facebook Lives. And I know they're an hour. I know we go over a lot of information, and I know that this system is very complex. But to Bobby's point earlier, our goal is to make it great for the players, because the better it is for the players, the greater level of participation. So I'll apologize for our team if we weren't clear about previous expanded points opportunities, but they were presented ahead of those events on this Facebook Live, I think at possibly 2 occasions prior to those events. So we're sorry that the folks didn't hear about them, but we did put that information out before those events occurred. So we appreciate everybody participating. And listen, look forward to 2021 and the new expanded points opportunities that we'll be announcing as we get through this first ever 2020 Women's Rodeo World Championship. I know there was another question. I'd like Bobby to comment on this one from Mr. Wallace. Sammy Joe, can you put that one up? And I'd like to get Bobby to air out his thoughts on that question.
Yeah, so Graves asked if I'm a team roper wanting to compete at the WRWC event and I nominate and get in, am I guaranteed a partner even if I can't find one? And that's a good question. So in the team roping, you could nominate you could go to a draw pot, you could nominate your run, and it doesn't matter what your partner, your header or your heeler, whatever they did, it doesn't make any difference. It's all, but you earn points based on what you do and you alone that day, and that's it. And so in the barrel racing, it doesn't matter what horse I run or if I enter multiple times. In the team roping, kind of the same thing. And so when the leaderboard closes and we do entries, we're going to have 64 headers and we're going to have 64 heelers. Certainly a lot of those will know who they're roping with, and then there'll be some, and we've encountered this at every one of our events, there'll be some that don't know. They live far off place, their partner didn't come, they don't know anybody, which is certainly happens, but they want to come. Well, when we get, there'll be 64 headers, 64 heelers. We'll say y'all pick amongst yourselves, and when we get down to the last 5 of each, then we're going to get on the phone and we're going to try to help get you all together and say, Sarah, meet Joey, and she heads, you heel, you want to rope together, whatever. And so then also on the Women's Rodeo World Championship Facebook page, there's also a team roping partner finder. And so there's a post on there, has a picture of a animated lady doing this, like she's yelling. And so you can post on there and say, hey, I'm a number 4 header looking for a healer, a number 5 healer for the challenger or whatever. And so go there and let's use that to try to help anybody who doesn't have a partner, because I know, like, again, my daughter, she's in that camp right there. She heads really good. She's only got a 3, but she does good at all the high school rodeos and doesn't have a partner. So subtly saying that if there's a healer out there, there are 2 of them that need to run. Here we go. But this live will not leave me alone.
Okay,
anyway, one other thing I wanted to say about the about the expanded points that you were talking about earlier. Consequential as they are, it doesn't change the fact that 0.5 points is all it takes to get on the leaderboard. So, I mean, nominate an alliance partner event, fall off in the box, and you made it. I mean, it's not. And so just to kind of put it in perspective, we're doing expanded points this year to prove it so that when we promote events next year, people will know what it is, to give opportunities. And ultimately what it's going to do is it's going to reward consistency. That person who catches all their cattle, who makes good runs, and the competition, the draw, for whatever reason, they're just out of winning money, they still have a chance to earn significant points. And so it's us trying to give you more money for your, more bang for your buck when you go and you nominate. And so they're always associated with a discounted nomination. And look for 2021 there to be a limited number of fast track qualifiers, all of them having expanded points. And so those will be select opportunities that people can go to throughout the year. And the hope is that you go to those and you don't have to spend money nominating elsewhere. And so it's all around trying to make it to where if you enter and you enter one of these fast track qualifiers and you have the chance to, if you go do your job, make your qualification early, and then you don't have to worry about it. But the opportunities are just going to continue to get better.
So, Sammy Joe, as we clean up the questions, just for absolute clarity, can we go through the expanded points opportunities and or the fast track qualifier opportunities that exist from right now until the leaderboard closes on Sunday?
Yes, absolutely. So let's share this graphic here. This includes these expanded point opportunities. So in the barrel racing, this weekend we have at October 16th and 17th in Fort Worth, Texas at the Stockyards Championship Rodeo. If the winner is nominated, they will earn points and they will receive that fast track qualification. Also, if you don't win, but you're nominated and you're in a paid position, you'll be earning your points as well. Then down
Absolutely.
into the...
Can I just highlight something right there, Sammy Joe? Obviously, I'm in Texas. I'm very familiar with Fort Worth Stockyards. But basically, it's a Division IV event. You go there for a $50 nomination. If you win it, you're in the fast track, running against a maximum of 15 other girls for 4 spots in the main event, right? Like, it's that simple. Go run your horse at the Fort Worth Stockyards if you can get there Friday or Saturday, nominate it, and you have an opportunity to be in the fast track.
Exactly. And then moving into the breakaway roping, these are the Oklahoma's Richest, the Open, and the WCRA Challenger. Online entries are closed, but walk-up entries will be available on site, and your nomination is included in your entry fee. These 2 ropings are the expanded point opportunities. So down to 20 places in every paid round, we will be awarding points. They're both Division IV events, so it will be Division IV expanded points that will be available. And again, you don't want to miss this for breakaway roping to bump yourself into the top 64 or maybe into the top 4, or a lot of leaderboard movement will be happening after this event on Friday and Saturday. And then lastly, the Rope for the Roses event is a Division II in Alva, Oklahoma. And that's being put on October 18th. And that's a Stockton Graves event. So if you have any questions, again, online entries are closed, but I do believe he'll be taking some walk-up entries on site at that event as well.
And doesn't it add like 20,000?
No, it's a 10,000 guaranteed. Yep.
That's a lot.
And the Open Breakaway at Oklahoma's Richest is 10,000 added as well. Isn't that right, Sammy Joe?
That's correct.
Yeah. So 2 huge ropings with big time consequences with the expanded points at Oklahoma's Richest. All of these 3 ropings listed have fast track qualifications to get you into that bonus round, if you will, and go straight to the main event. So for clarity, Between now and Sunday's leaderboard closing, there are no more expanded points opportunity in the team roping. Is that correct?
Yep.
In addition, the fast track is complete. So there are no fast track qualifiers this weekend for the lady team ropers, right?
Correct.
But in that discipline, you can go to any roping. Doesn't have to be an all-girl. You can nominate it, minimal points to achieve leaderboard qualification, and a comped entry fee for the WCRA leaderboard round. So want to finish up these last couple of questions and get back on the agenda.
Yeah, and I was working on sharing the available points for the expanded point event. Renee Bowling, she asked, what's the most points you can get in Guthrie in the open? And so I was just pulling this graphic up that Renee, so here's the actual breakdown of the points to be awarded. So this top end is the challenger roping. There'll be 2 rounds, a finals, and an average. So to answer your question, the most points you can get over here, we ran a number that if you won first in every round, that would be totaling up, right? 33, 33, 55, 55. You would get 106 total points.
107.
What's that?
176.
Oh, excuse me, 176 points. And then if you were in that last paying position for the points, 20th and 15th, you get 16 points. And let's just say you place 10th in every round. And obviously these are hypothetical. It's pretty hard to assume where everybody's going to place at the event. So we will have these graphics printed on site for those of you that really do want to keep track of the points you'll be receiving. But just know you have to catch, you have to have a time. So if 20th down here misses, they will not get points. But if 19th catches, they will receive 4 points. So the point scale does not change so long as there's 20 in that round and 15 in the finals. But you do have to catch in order to get your points. And then,
so
go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to scroll down here to the Open, which is a Division II event. So the points are greater, and there's a 3rd round. There's 3 total rounds of finals and an average. And Chris Neal, our producer, he is paying every single round. So if somebody were to win first in every round, they would receive 627 points from this roping. A lot of points to be earned at this event.
Well,
that's a big deal.
The combined opportunity, if you want to come to Oklahoma on the weekend, you get a chance to not only rope for all this money, have all these chances, and then have it qualify you to another great weekend, which we haven't talked about this, but during the Women's Rodeo World Championship, just down the road at the Fort Worth Stockyards, they're having the Cowgirl Gathering. Cowgirl Gathering is adding $50,000 to the weekend over the breakaway roping, the team roping, and the barrel racing. And so if you're thinking, it's a long ways to Fort Worth, I don't know if it's worth coming for just one rodeo. There's that. And so that's going to be a fantastic event. This is a first-year event also. It's all about the cowgirl there. They have a lot of speakers who are going to come and a lot of shopping. There's going to be a lot to do. It's a great opportunity. That happens on the weekend, and so you can do that right along with the Women's Rodeo World Championship, and the WPRA Finals is happening in Waco. That's not very far away. And so they have open barrel races. They also have all of their events that be qualified to through the WPRA standings. And so they're paying out a lot of money. So if you put it all together, all the money that's paid out to cowgirls that weekend, it's like over $1.2 million going to be paid out. Yeah. That's a great week. And I mean, that's just, I can't imagine anybody 2 years ago even believing that it would be moving this fast. And so, we worked, all of those people who I just mentioned all worked together, which is a fantastic thing in rodeo. And we're able to work their schedules so that everybody can go do everything if they want to. So lots and lots of opportunities. And then your top 6 who will come out of that Thursday, the 6 fastest times on the 2-head aggregate after the first 2 performances on Thursday, Will Rogers will go to AT&T Stadium where the Dallas Cowboys play during the PBR World Finals performance, right in the middle of it. And so Friday, refresh my memory, Sammy Joe, who goes Friday? One day is how we'll do it. And so one single discipline will be featured each night, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah, team roping on Friday. I was going to scroll in here. Team roping on Friday, barrel racing on Saturday, and breakaway roping on Sunday.
Yeah, so that's
and
going to be
we'll also be given a $20,000 cash bonus and a coat saddle to the all-around in one of those performances, very likely Sunday, if it all comes, if an all-around race comes to Sunday. But that's another $20,000 that somebody's going to earn cash money. So it's a big deal. If I might go ahead, Bobby.
When you're talking about awards, one thing we haven't talked about is these buckles. I'm so excited because, well, not yet. Not yet. They're Jesse James Silversmith, who has made all of the buckles for all of our major events. They do a fantastic job, and these buckles are going to be like the best thing that we've ever put out. There's a lot of gold, a lot of sterling, lots and lots of precious metals in these buckles, and they're going to be a really pretty, one-of-a-kind buckle. And so headers, heelers, breakaway ropers, barrel racers, all around are all going. They're expensive, but they're really, really nice. So
that's awesome.
Award those.
I forget. That's a great point about Jesse James. They've done outstanding work on all of our WCRA buckles. They're unique. They're awesome. So I'm pretty excited to see these. So make sure you get with Sammy Joe when you get them, and we'll debut them right here on.
You get a picture. There's also go round buckles, and they're the box style buckles. So they're a small square dress buckle with like a band on the top, like a box style. They're really neat for the go rounds in those performances on Thursday. So those are going to be cool awards. The money's great. Experience, even a $60,000 check, you're going to spend it. It's neat to have some really good quality stuff that you're going to use and wear and enjoy left over after you spent the money. And then, I'll say this: I was able to have the opportunity to ride an AT&T Stadium 4 or 5 times, and it never got old. Like, that is one arena that has a feel altogether different than anything else that I got to ride in a lot of great rodeo arenas, but that environment is pretty awesome. And so the opportunity for those top 6 to come in there during that performance with PBR is good at, they'll have the music will be bumping, the pyro will be going off, the fans are going to be crazy, and it's going to be a pretty awesome environment. And so it should make the hair on the back of your neck stand up when they get that opportunity. And one of those 6 is going away with $60,000. Big deal.
Well, Sammy Joe, if I might, really quickly on a couple of these other questions, Delaney, if you could call us or email us about that open pool entry, I'm certain our support team can make sure and get you fixed up.
Well, and she's asking about the schedule, and Delaney, your assumption is correct. It will all come after we close entries and we're able to finalize the timeline of the schedule along with the locations. We'll have a full contestant packet to send to you that will explain every detail you need to know about competing. So give us about a week and a half and we'll be shooting you over all the need to know information. Great point, Sammy Joe.
For Deb Mason, she's wondering how she can get some tickets. Right now, the qualifying rounds at Will Rogers, there's an opportunity for you to come see that. That's a non-ticketed event. We're working on finalizing the plan for the Thursday performances, but you can watch everything on ridepass.com. We'll be streaming live. In addition, we're working on some other media opportunities. As Bobby mentioned, the final 6 and the championship will be covered within the PBR's coverage on CBS. And then last but not least, you can buy tickets to either of or all of those PBR performances at AT&T and see the top 6 championship by purchasing tickets. And I'm certain you can find that information at PBR.com.
One thing that go ahead. Well, I'll answer this. So the Challenger team roping is capped at a 5. And so that's a good question. So
grade 5 for header and healer, right, Bobby? And has to be a 9.5 team. So
yeah, 9.5 global handicaps. And so you'll need to have a global handicaps classification and membership. That way we can verify it. And in the team roping, so we haven't discussed this at all. The barrier, it'll be a barrier, not a World Series style barrier, but it'll be an electric eye. Because I had some questions, will it be a rope barrier because it's a rodeo? We didn't feel like that'd be quite fair to a lot of the ladies that don't get a chance to rope behind a rope barrier really often. Really, once you leave college rodeo, probably nowhere. So it'll be an electric eye with the regular barrier, be probably on the shorter end. Bobby Joe Hill is going to bring the cattle, and they will be the right type of cattle for that arena. They're not just going to be some fresh native bred Corrientes that you're going to have to break in there. We're going to make sure we've got a good set of M brand steers. The calves, of course, it will be a rope barrier rodeo setup. Jeff Yates is bringing the calves, and I don't know if we have fresh barrels or not, but they'll be good.
They will be pretty fresh, probably, because they're going to have some WRWC branding on them.
Yeah.
Then the last question, Scott, where can I book my stall?
Another one from Mr. Wallace. That's a great question. As you enter through entrytool.com between now and the 25th, or even in the late entry period, you'll be able to follow the prompts to book your stall. If you've already entered and you need to book some stalls, you can do so at openstalls.com. So it'll be a first-class stalling experience at Will Rogers, both in the facility itself as well as the management of your booking. So we're really excited about debuting that opportunity to the ladies as they check in at Will Rogers. And everybody listening, if you're planning on being in Fort Worth for Women's Rodeo World Championship and you're staying for the Cowgirl Gathering, or for those of you who haven't wised up and going to enter the Women's Rodeo World Championship, but you're participating in the Cowgirl Gathering, you'll book your stalls through openstalls.com for that event, as well as stalls will be available at the Will Rogers Complex through the weekend for the team ropers, breakaway ropers, and barrel racers that are participating in the Cowgirl Gathering. Tell me you got it. Tell me you got it. Swing and a miss.
So openstalls.com, entrytool.com. As we talked about, to enter the Open to the World pool, you will choose whether you're in the pro pool or the challenger pool, and you can enter up to 2 times maximum. So you could, if you're challenger eligible, you could enter once in the challenger and once in the pro. Totally up to you. But again, if you have questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to our team, 833-368-3787, or you can email us at support@wcrarodeo.com, and we can help walk you through or answer any questions you have. We're excited to see all of you in Texas. Any closing thoughts, Bobby?
If you're not in, get in. This thing's going to happen. It's going to be a great event. Hope to see you all down there.
And Scott?
I would just say that if you're not in, get in. And, look, enter entrytool.com. Enter. This is going to be a fantastic event. It's the inaugural year. And we're excited about growing this thing. So as Bobby said, the opportunity's there. The money's almost laying on the ground. The payout is guaranteed. Get your tails to North Texas November 8th through 15th and get some of it.
And there are no walk-ups. So get your pre-entry in October 25th, or you will be paying $1,000 November 6th or 2nd through the 6th as a late entry. So get entered before October 25th and pay that $750, and you won't regret it. A lot of money to be won that week. And you can hit up Cowgirl Gathering. You can hit up the WPRA finals. You can make it all. So we look forward to seeing you all there. Share this video. Please help spread the word. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you.